It's easy to become a millionaire in the US than in the UK. In fact, it's easier to become a millionaire in Lagos than in the UK. Let's discuss. It's easier to become a millionaire in the US than in the UK. I agree. It's 100 times easier to become a millionaire in the US than in the UK when you compare the two countries. I agree. But then saying that it's easier to become a millionaire in Lagos, not even in Nigeria, than in the UK, is what I want us to discuss. Usually, when people wear coats on social media, 99% of the times, they don't usually have sense. Like I will always say, the major problem we have in Nigeria is lack of education, poverty, and ignorance. A country where up to 90% of the population are not educated, ignorant, and extremely poor. That is why you get people reasoning like this, and a lot of people will agree, because in Nigeria we don't like to tell ourselves the truth. In Nigeria we like to be delusional, we like to live in hope, you understand? We don't like to accept reality. We like to make ourselves feel good, feel better. We like to assume that something is there when we know that it's actually not there. For example, somebody in Nigeria will tell you Nigeria is sweet. Nigeria is the sweetest country to be. The person saying this slept in darkness last night. Heat dealt to the person. Mosquito beat the hell out of the person. Generator noise from neighbors who managed to afford fuel last night disturbed the eardrum of that person. You understand? And the person wake up and carry bucket to go and look for where to fetch water. And such a person will tell you Nigeria is sweet. There is no place like home. Nigeria is the sweetest country in the world. And you will be wondering, if somebody suffering like this is telling you that Nigeria is sweet, there is no place like home, Nigeria is the sweetest country in the world, what will people who now live in countries where electricity does not blink, water is always running, they don't experience heat or mosquito bites, what will these people now say? In Nigeria, people prefer to drink action bitter, alomo bitter, and all the bitters in the world to drinking freshly made fruit juice that is 100% healthy for them. You understand? They will tell you that the bitters they are drinking is enjoyment, that is sweet, and they will not see you drinking the fresh fruit juice as a person that doesn't know what's up. They will not say this one doesn't know what's up. You understand? They will not feel like you're not the one, you're not enjoying. They are the ones enjoying. That is Nigeria for you. The problem is that we are letting our huge population deceive us a lot in Nigeria. That is why you see all these motivational speakers in quotes on social media always telling you to start a business in Nigeria, start a business. And they will be referencing the 250 million people we have in Nigeria. And they will be making it sound as if once you start a business, millions of Nigerians will start patronizing you. Meanwhile, what we forget to realize, which is the real truth, is that our population is made up of more than 90% who are hungry and do not have purchasing power. You understand? Remember that CBN update last 2 years or last year said more than 98% of Nigerians do not have 500,000 naira in their account. And sometimes we feel that these reports are a joke, but they are not. They represent the real reality of what is happening in Nigeria. Check the recent Piggyvest report about Nigerians. You will realize, so it's not about the population. This population you're talking about, see the number of Northerners. How many Northerners will patronize what you sell, bro? See the population of people living in Akwa Ibom, in Calabar. Forget about the few, the 0.01% in Lagos and Abuja, making it seem as if people are living okay. In actuality, 98% of Nigerians do not have the purchasing power to patronize that business you are about to start. And that is why we don't have many millionaires in Nigeria. It's not about population. It's not about having 250 million people or 300 million people. It's about purchasing power. How much are they earning? What can they afford? A population that cannot make Innocent, who has been producing cars in Nigeria, a billionaire in dollar, because Innocent cannot sell. He's begging for people to buy his cars, and people cannot afford to buy his brand new cars. A population that could not keep Netflix in Nigeria. Netflix has left Nigeria because Nigerians are not paying to watch movies. Nigerians find ways to watch movies online. Free. They watch on YouTube. They find way to go to some certain sites and download movies for free. And what? Because they do not have the purchasing power. They do not have the money to pay Netflix. You understand? A population that lets Iroko, rock, R-O-K, die because they don't have money to subscribe for movies. A population where Wizkid, Davido, or Burna Boy cannot get 10 million streams on a song. That is why you see them living abroad all the time, struggling for abroad audience, abroad shows, abroad streams and all that. Because in Nigeria, where we have excess population, they do not get streams. How many Nigerians can afford to pay monthly Apple Music, Spotify music subscriptions? Let's check the real facts, bro. A population where the highest grossing Nigerian movie is making only 1 billion naira, which is less than $1 million, and they are celebrating, and you call that a population? They can't even watch your movie and give you money. A population that cannot afford to go to Dan Ayam Stadium or Eyimba Stadium or Rangers Stadium or Lagos FC Stadium to watch our local players, our Premier League players play, so that those guys can make money. And that is why you cannot see a Nigerian league player driving a Toyota Corolla, because people cannot afford to buy tickets to go and watch them. And that is why our own local players are poor. But when they go to Europe to play, when they go abroad to play, you see them buying Ferraris. And you people are bragging using this population, a poor population that cannot afford to purchase anything, a population without purchasing power, a population of ignorant and uneducated people. Okay, now let's break this down. It's easier to become a millionaire in Lagos, but here we are going to use Nigeria because I am not dumb to the extent of comparing becoming a millionaire in Lagos to becoming a millionaire in the UK. So let's now break down where it's actually easier to become a millionaire in Nigeria or in the UK with some facts and figures, you understand, and not just some social media posts where we just use our emotions to do the judgment, you understand. Now, the UK has a population of 69 million people, and Nigeria has a population of over 200 or 250 or 300 million people. That's the fact. And the UK has up to 56 to 58 billionaires in dollars, whereas Nigeria, with a population of 200 million, 300 million or 250 million people, has only just $4 billionaires. And now the UK, with a population of 56 million people, has over 2.5 million to 3 million millionaires in dollars, whereas Nigeria, with a population of over 200 million, 250 million or 300 million, has just 7,200 recognized millionaires in dollars. Let that sink in. It means that Nigeria has 3 times more population than the UK. And yet we have only $4 billionaires and $7,200 millionaires. It means that if the UK were to have as much population as Nigeria has, the UK would be having more than 150 billionaires in dollars. You understand? And more than 9 million millionaires in dollars. And if Nigeria were to have the less population that the UK has, it means that we may not probably have a billionaire, or we'll just have 1 billionaire in dollars. You understand? And probably have like 2,000 millionaires in dollars. You see? Okay, now let's go. If somebody says it's easier to become a millionaire in Nigeria than in the UK, the person is trying to tell you that it's easier for you to be a footballer in Nigeria, playing in a Nigerian league like Heartland FC, Eyimba, Rangers, Lagos FC, and so on and so forth. The person is letting you know that you will make $1 million faster than somebody playing in the Premier League in the UK, like in Chelsea, Man City, Arsenal, Aston Villa, Crystal Palace, or any league in the or any team in the Premier League. That's what the person actually is letting you know. But then in the reality, there are over 100 footballers in the Premier League alone, and each of them is a millionaire. And then below the Premier League, we have the Championship. There is no player in the Championship who is not worth up to $1 million. And after the Championship, you have the League 1, League 2, and the rest of them. These people most of them are worth up to $1 million. But then in Nigeria, there is no footballer in Nigeria playing in a Nigerian league who has up to 5 million naira in their accounts right now as I'm talking to you. That is 5,000 Canadian dollars or 3,000 something US dollars, because Nigerians do not have the money to go and watch Nigerian league. So therefore, the players are poor. They are not making any money. The person is also letting you know that if you are a boxer, that if you are boxing in Nigeria, that you become a millionaire faster than somebody boxing in the UK. So the person is letting us know that boxers in Nigeria are making more money than Anthony Joshua in the UK and other boxers in the UK. Meanwhile, the boxers we have in Nigeria, boxing in Nigeria, are all struggling to feed. They are all struggling to feed. This person is letting you know that if you play basketball in Nigeria, you play hockey in Nigeria, you play golf in Nigeria, you do any type of sports in Nigeria, that you make more money than somebody doing the same in the UK. Do you agree with that? This person is also letting you know that if you are a filmmaker in Nigeria or an actor in Nigeria, that you make more money than a filmmaker in the UK and an actor in the UK. For example, this person is letting you know that Funke Akindele is making more money than a producer in the UK. Remember that Funke Akindele has the highest grossing movie ever in Nigeria, and she made only 1 billion naira, which is less than $1 million. Meanwhile, the highest grossing movie in the UK, like Slumdog Millionaire, Harry Potter, and the rest of them, have surpassed over $1 billion. These are movies produced in the UK. And this person is letting you know that Nigerian actors like Zubi Michael, Timine Botin are richer than British actors like Jason Statham, and the Sekis, Benedict Cumberbatch, etc. This person is letting you know that Zubi Michael and all these our poor actors that are not even collecting up to $1,000 per movie are richer than actors in the UK who do not collect less than $2 million or $3 million to appear in a movie. Can you imagine? Remember that one UK actor is richer than all the actors in Nigeria plus their producers combined together. Example, Jason Statham or this Andy Serkis. He has grossed over 15 billion pounds in movies. Just one person. This person is letting you know that if you are a musician in Nigeria or a music producer or director in Nigeria, that you make more money than those doing the same in the UK. Remember that we don't have one billionaire musician or music producer in Nigeria, but in the UK, we have musicians and music producers who are billionaires. You know, they're always looking at Don Jazzy because Don Jazzy has money, but then he's a billionaire. But then in the UK, we have one person who is 100 times richer than Don Jazzy in the same music business. You understand? Go and Google Sir Paul McCartney and Elton John and other top UK musicians and see their net worth. You will realize that if you combine all Nigerian musicians together plus Don Jazzy, they are not worth up to Sir Paul McCartney or even Elton John. We're not talking about Adele or Ed Sheeran or the recent one, and we're not talking about those ones. And this person is letting you know that you will make more money being a musician in Nigeria than you will make being a musician in the UK. Meanwhile, Nigerian musicians have to stay in the UK or in the US, struggling for shows, for views and all that, because there is nothing for them in Nigeria. If they were to remain in Nigeria, they won't be driving those Ferraris and Lamborghinis. That's why you see them doing shows every Eke Market Day in the UK, touring the whole Europe. Every time they are shutting down O2 Arena in the UK, they are looking for UK streams, UK endorsement deals and all that, because that is where the money is. And this person is letting you know that if you decide to be a musician and you want to remain in Nigeria, that you make more money than a musician in the UK. Can you imagine? This person is letting you know that content creators in Nigeria are making more money than content creators in the UK. Remember that Nigerian content creators are struggling and praying for views from countries like the UK so that they can make money, because views in Nigeria do not pay. This person is letting you know that Nigerian content creators like Pella or whoever you want to mention are making more money than UK content creators. Should I mention a few? They are making more money than UK content creators like Peppa Pig, who has 43.5 million subscribers on YouTube alone. Or that's DM with 29.2 million subscribers on YouTube. I don't want to go down further. That is one content creator in the UK. It's making more money than all the content creators in Nigeria combined. Because with 43.5 million subscribers on YouTube, being in the UK, getting UK views and other international views, you are richer than all content creators in Nigeria. But then this person is letting you know that you make more money doing content creation in Nigeria than a British content creator. Can you imagine the ignorance? Now let's talk about businesses, entrepreneurship. This person is letting you know that as a business person in Nigeria, you'll make more money than a business person in the UK. Let me give you an example so you understand. This person is letting you know that Innocent Motors is making more money than British-owned car manufacturing companies like the Land Rover and Range Rover, like the Rolls-Royce that you know, like Jaguar, like other car manufacturing brands or companies in the UK. This person is letting you know that Innocent Motors, that is still struggling to sell just one car per day in Nigeria, that is not even sure of selling one car in 1 week in Nigeria. Innocent Motors, that has been in the business of manufacturing cars for years and is not even worth up to $1 billion. This person is letting you know that Range Rover, or Rolls Royce that innocent is making more money than them. Remember that the number of cars or the amount of money Range Rover or even Rolls Royce will make per day selling their cars every day, one day. Innocent cannot make it in 1 year. Honestly, ignorance is not good. Which other business will you like to use to compare? Is it airline business? We only have Allen Onyema, A-Piece, that goes international. And this person is letting you know that Onyema, Allen, is making more money than British-owned airline businesses like British Airways. Remember that Innocent is not a billionaire. He's not worth up to $1 billion. And most of his aircrafts are leased. He didn't buy them. He's just a millionaire trying to grow. And this person is letting you know that a multi-billion-dollar worth airline business in the UK, like British Airways, that Innocent is making more money than the person. This person is letting you know that if you decide to open airline business in Nigeria now, that you will make more money than somebody who decides to open the same business in the UK. What's ignorance? Which business do you want to use to compare? Is it hotel business, food business? We don't have tourists in Nigeria. This person is letting you know that a restaurant in Nigeria will make more money than a restaurant in the UK, where tourists, millions of tourists come every day to explore. This person is letting you know that if you build a hotel, this person is letting you know that like Eco Hotel is making more money than a hotel in London. Jesus Christ. So what else do you want to use to compare? Is it professions? Okay, this person is letting you know that if you decide to be a medical doctor working in Nigeria, that will make more money. You become a millionaire faster than a medical doctor working in the UK. Remember that a medical doctor working in Nigeria is still struggling to afford a 2005 Toyota Camry. Meanwhile, a medical doctor in the UK has saved £100,000 that they can deposit as 10% to buy a house in London or in the UK. This person is letting you know that if you decide to be a teacher in Nigeria, that will make more money than a teacher in the UK. Remember that teachers in Nigeria are still struggling to borrow 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 monthly so that they can survive from PAMPay, OPay, and the rest of them. Meanwhile, a teacher in the UK has been able to save up to £50,000 that they have deposited to afford a house, you understand? And this person is letting you know that if you are in Nigeria doing nursing, that you make more money than a nurse in the UK. Remember that nurses in Nigeria, even though they add a touch of, hook up to their job, still, they can't even afford to buy cars. But a nurse in the UK has been able to save up to £100,000 or £50,000 to pay for down payment for a house. And this person is letting you know that you are better doing that thing in Nigeria than in the UK. Our population is deceiving us. We only have poor, hungry, uneducated people in Nigeria. That's the population that is always deceiving us. A population is useless when the people do not have purchasing power. So if you are opening a business in Nigeria and you are thinking of the population, you're already failing because the population is not going to patronize you. So when people make this kind of ignorant posts online, they don't know that there are critical thinkers and intelligent people like us who understand actually what is happening and who will always disagree with this kind of posts. You understand my point?